Hey, good morning. It's Pete Smith, retired firefighter, songwriter, actor. So the last thing I wanted to talk about after having a fire in my house, being a retired firefighter, was sort of a little comparison between having a paid fire department, like where I worked, and having a volunteer fire department, like where I live, where we had the fire. So, let me get right into it. The fire that we had, the volunteers that showed up did a great job. We had some guys that came in and they attacked the fire directly, right in through the front door, right up to the attic, knocked the fire down. Very, very professional job. They minimized the damage as best they could. Ventilated through the front and rear attic windows, so they didn't even cut a hole in the roof, which was kind of nice. And they were able to do that. So they didn't bust much, just maybe a couple things. But then, of course, there was the overhaul, and the overhaul was, it was pretty extensive. But they had to do what they had to do. They took down some walls, and then also they did take some tarps and covered like a lot of my stuff on the first floor. There was a lot of water coming down, so I was happy that they did that. And so I would say, given the conditions and the circumstances, it wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't a difficult fire. Every fire is difficult, but let's just say the conditions were pretty optimal for firefighting. Although it was pitch black, it was nighttime and the power had zapped out, so they were in the dark, but they did a good job. Now, compared to when I was a career firefighter, paid firefighter, I think it was about the same as far as the technique. Somebody said to me, career guys have a tendency to break more things. I don't know if that's true or not. I do remember when I was on the fire department that breaking things was kind of the way to go, just because it made you a lot safer sometimes, or at least we thought it did. That, you just break it, just get it out of the way, open it up. Don't worry about the cost, It's like life is the most important thing, and that's the people that are having the fire, the people that live there or that are in the business, or their lives as well as the firefighters' lives. Those are the important things, and so break anything or take out whatever you need to take out to keep things safe. So, in that respect, the volunteers did a great job, I think, not over breaking anything. They really seem to, have a concern for the property and what would be left of the property. And I appreciate that. Now, the one real drawback to the volunteers versus the career for me in this fire was the response time. I have to say, it took what seemed to be like forever for the fire department to get to my house. And I have a firehouse right on my street. Like literally, up the street is the firehouse. So it took them a long time. And I still have to check to see who arrived first. It might have been a neighboring town that arrived first. Anyway, the word that I got on that was that maybe there was some kind of function going on. I don't know whether it was a funeral or a wet down. I don't know, but some kind of function where the volunteers may have been out of town. So that could have contributed to the delay in response. But it took a long time for them to get there. And when that fire came in, and the police got there, and the first, it was small. It was small. So, had they been in the station, like the career department, the guys are in the station, ready to go. Had it been like that, sorry about that. So I would say to the volunteer departments, if there is a function out of town, or you gotta be somewhere else, there's something going on, you should probably leave at least a couple of guys. Make sure there's a couple of guys that don't go, that can respond. Or even the neighboring towns. Sometimes these volunteer towns, there's a function and they all go. You know what I mean? Like all the towns neighboring, as well as, they all go to this function. And it pretty much leaves the towns, unprepared for a response, for an emergency. So I would say just make sure you either leave a couple guys back that don't go to the function, that are going to be available to respond to something, or work it out with the other towns so that you stagger when you're going to go, so you can have like a mutual aid set up, so that, okay, our town's going to be out at the funeral this afternoon, your town covers our town. I don't know what the system is here, but all I know is it took a long time for guys to get there. There's a guy, a firefighter, who lives on my street. He showed up right away in his car, I think. He didn't have a hose. He didn't have, I don't know, I think he had some gear, but I'm not sure if he had an air mask. Anyway, we went up there and we tried to put the fire out, but we didn't have any water. You know what I mean? We grabbed a couple little fire extinguishers from down in my, in my apartment, but, oh man. And we waited for that fire engine to come. But once they got there, like I said, they did a great job. So that's my little critique for career versus volunteer. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this.